Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, this is Hopeful Chewbacca back at the Church of Chewbacca, and today we're going to rank the set 36 to set 40 headliners featured cards. And the cards that were featured in this period of time was the Future Stars Cristian Pache, the Silver Slugger Jose Altuve, Signature Series Don Sutton, Silver Slugger J.D. Martinez, and Gold Glove Yadier Molina. How I'm going to do this ranking list is I'm going to compare each 5 of these cards among each other, as well as how they are compared to other cards within their position, and how much of a use you're going to get out of each of these cards. I've also done an in-depth true review of each of these cards. I will tag the video in the corner whenever the card is first introduced. That way, if you want to have more in-depth information about the card and why I think it was kind of ranked that way in an in-depth aspect, you can watch the true review that's on the channel. Also, before we get into seeing who comes out number 1 between the set 36 to set 40 headliners featured cards, I need you guys to hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, hit that notification bell, that way you know whenever I'm uploading more videos, as well as comment and share the video. That way we can continue to grow the channel. I appreciate all the support everybody has given me so far. Let's get into it. Coming in at number 5. At the 5th spot, we have the 98 overall Cristian Pache. He's a Future Stars card for the Atlanta Braves. His primary position is center field. He's right-handed throwing, right-handed batting. He can also play left field and right field for his secondary positions. He has the diamond hitting and diamond defense. He is one of the best center fielders, if not outfielders, in the entire game when it comes to defense. I think the only card that is close to him is the face of the franchise, Byron Buxton. Looking at this card, though, as you can see from his hitting attributes, they're really not that great, and that's where this card's going to let you down. He's not going to be a center fielder that is going to be in your lineup at this point in the game every single game you play, unless you are a newer player. Because of that, this Pache is going to be number 5 on the list. I just don't see where he fits, and I really do think if you need a defensive outfielder, it's just cheaper, more advantageous to get that Byron Buxton. I think this Pache, because of the name that he has, and the fact that he's an Atlanta Brave, and he's one of the top prospects in Major League Baseball. As I mentioned before, he's a top 15 prospect in 2 of the major scouting organizations and top 25 in all 3. So he is pretty much a can't-miss prospect, at least in the field, so he's going to get his chance in the bigs. I just don't think, without him being like a switch hitter or something, that these attributes are too appealing. I mean, he does have 102 contact versus lefty and pretty decent power against lefties, but even then, he wouldn't even platoon him. There's just so many other options in the outfield that you can get for free through the team affinities or cheaper than this Pache is. But even for a center fielder, like I think someone like an Alek Thomas, that is the Arizona Diamondbacks center fielder team affinity stage 2 future star, or even a Brandon Marsh would be just as good of a center fielder compared to this Pache. You're going to get, and it's for free. This Pache is probably going to cost you about $40K. I just don't know if he's worth that price, and that's even when the market kind of settles down. But like I said, he's probably one of the best defensive guys. The only defensive outfielder I think is better than him is the Byron Buxton, face of the franchise, stage 1, Minnesota Twins. Coming in at number 4. At the 4th spot, we have the Los Angeles Dodgers Hall of Famer, Don Sutton. He's a starting pitcher, 97 overall, Signature Series. He's right-handed throwing, right-handed batting. He does have a 5-pitch repertoire, and his primary pitch is a knuckle curve, which makes him kind of unique as a pitcher. Don Sutton doesn't throw the ball very hard, so I don't think he's going to be super effective at lower difficulties. And by lower difficulties, I mean like all-star, veteran. I mean, you're not really going to play veteran online, but the all-star aspect that's where most of the population of the game plays out on a regular basis. There might be some guys that hit Hall of Fame that are in that like average group of players that play Diamond Dynasty, but for the most part, a lot of guys are going to be playing on all-star. Sutton does not have a pitch that goes hard enough to be deceptive when he's throwing a fastball. Therefore, people can just sit on the fastball and adjust to his off-speed stuff. And he doesn't have anything that's like super magical in the movement department. I do think he can be very deceptive and useful at a Hall of Fame or legend level. He has pretty good attributes. His lowest attribute that actually matters when it comes to online play is his 94 hits per 9, which actually is probably slightly above average compared to most people starting pitchers, or right around that average. And he does have really good stamina at 119, has above average Ks per 9, and pretty good control, which is really what you want. Like I said, he's kind of the broke Greg Maddux or Oral Hershiser whenever I was doing his Chewy review. So I think he can be effective. However, with the other guys on this list, I don't know how many starting rotations Don Sutton makes, because there's just a lot of other pitchers out there right now. There's a lot of starting pitchers in the game that are useful, that I just think are better than Don Sutton. So I don't know if he sees the field. It's kind of like that Poche, where the outfield and starting pitching in this game right now is plentiful. And with that being said, I don't know if either guy really sees anybody's team that isn't a newer player. Although the Don Sutton should be more affordable than the Pache is, so that makes him a little bit more palatable, and that's why he's coming in at number 4 instead of 5 like Pache is. Also, if anyone was curious, this was the set 38 Headliners featured card. Coming in at number 3. Taking the 3 spot, we have the 2016 Silver Slugger 97 overall Jose Altuve, the second baseman for the Houston Astros. He's right-handed throwing, right-handed batting with a secondary position of shortstop. He has diamond hitting and gold defense. The biggest reason I have this Jose Altuve coming in at number 3 is second base and shortstop are definitely positions of need when it comes to hitters, as well as guys that are pretty fast because they have to have enough range. Altuve definitely hits the speed in range aspect of a fielder. Do I think he has the best glove? No, I do not. I think you kind of have to keep him at second base because he doesn't really have the arm strength to play shortstop. But it's still a nice feature that he can play shortstop if needed, and you really like his swing, and you have guys like Ryan Sandberg, Jackie Robinson, or they were coming out with a Roberto Alomar card that you will be able to take that second baseman and move Altuve to shortstop if you're absolutely mashing with Altuve. As well as Altuve has very good contact numbers. He doesn't have the most power, but I think he's a guy that has that around that power number where he gets a lot of base hits. I'm not saying that he's going to mash the ball and hit a bunch of home runs, but I think Altuve's power, he's strong enough to hit gaps, but he's not like too strong where he's in like that low 80s, high 70s on both his power stats where he's just hitting line drives or fly balls to the outfield. I think he's a little bit weaker than that, which allows him to get those flop shots over the second base, shortstop, third base, first base. He kind of reminds me of a little bit more powerful Ozzie Smith when it comes to hitting, although Ozzie Smith is a switch hitter and a much better fielder. I do think this Altuve serves a purpose, and out of these other 5 cards, I think he offers more value than the Pache or the Don Sutton, and I do think Altuve is going to be a cheaper option than Pache. He's going to be around that Don Sutton price of 15 to 20K when everything settles down, maybe even less, and if he becomes less than that, he becomes a bargain and a budget second baseman, and I think that's important to take into consideration. As well as I mentioned in the Chewy review, he has a polarizing swing. You either hate it or you love it. It's kind of like the Houston Astros. You either hate him or you love him. And if you love his swing, I know he absolutely rakes for people. And pretty much I think this card's somebody that if you can get him on the cheap to just give him a shot and see if he might be your missing link in the middle of the infield. Because I know a lot of guys always bump around second baseman and shortstop just because they can't find one they really like. I think this Altuve could be that answer for some people. Coming in, number 2. The set 37 featured card takes the second spot, and it's a 2018 Silver Slugger 96 overall J.D. Martinez, left fielder for the Boston Red Sox. He's right-handed throwing, right-handed batting, secondary position of right field. He has diamond hitting and womp bronze defense. As we all know, J.D. Martinez definitely is not a guy that you are looking to put in your outfield to glove the ball. The biggest thing about this J.D. Martinez and why he comes into the 2 spot is he's arguably the best power hitter in the video game right now. With his glitchy swing that absolutely pulverizes balls and drives them deep in the air, giving you home runs, gap shots, and his ridiculous contact at 116 plus just makes him an invaluable card. He mashes lefties in real life compared to righties, so the fact that this is a card that he hits righties better is a little surprising to me, and I even mentioned that in the Chewy review that I did that's in depth of this card. And the lower vision at 72 is a little bit of a concern. However, the best players still used his gold card for a long time at higher levels early on in the game because he just has one of the glitchiest swings in the game. And because of this, you might not start the J.D. Martinez in left or right field just because his fielding is pretty bad. I mean, 60 fielding, 47 speed, doesn't have a great arm. I don't know if you play him in the field, but he's a guy you're taking as your first or second option as a pinch hitter right now in the game. And I think that makes him very valuable. That's what puts him at number 2 on the list. Tremendous power, tremendous swing, and he's going to have a good-sized PCI. He's going to be a guy that any team can use because he's going to be the number 1 or number 2 pinch hitter on your team. Whether you're facing a right or left-handed pitcher, I'd throw J.D. Martinez in there, and he could hit you a bomb and change the game. As for newer players, if you do pull this J.D. Martinez, I'm not saying to sell him. Right now his price is kind of ridiculously high for what he offers, especially with the poor fielding. So I would kind of just sell him if you pull him. If I'm being honest, I'll be an honest, candid guy here. Sell the card. To me, he's not worth a card that's worth 65 or 70K that he's selling for right now, but that's because of the Trout collection. When he settles into that 40K, I think he's going to be tremendously valuable because he's going to be a guy that is a top 1 or 2 pinch hitter for the rest of the year, in my opinion. So that's what's put him at the number 2 spot here. If he was a better fielder, he would be number 1 pretty much hands down. Coming in at number 1. I think it's pretty much no surprise that the 2012 Gold Glove winner Yadier Molina, the 98 overall catcher for the St. Louis Cardinals, is taking the 1 spot on this list. When I was doing his true review, I kind of touted him as probably one of the best catchers in the game, if not the best catcher, at least defensively. And you can see that from his defensive stats. He's also can play a secondary position of first base. He does have diamond hitting and diamond defense. And as all catchers are, he's right-handed throwing. He's not a switch hitter. He is a right-handed batter as well. But just looking at it defensively, I mean, it's obvious. He's 96 plus in all his important defensive stats. His reaction is an 84, but I think blocking matters more for catchers. Does he have the 99 arm strength like the Matt Wieters does? No, I know he doesn't. But I still think he's a better defensive catcher than the Matt Wieters is. You can fight me about it. I mean, I think I'm right here. I mentioned in a true review, I know some people said Matt Wieters, he's a better catcher. I understand what you're saying. Matt Wieters does have a glitchier swing than Yadier Molina. However, this Molina is one of the most unmatched catchers in the game. Molina in his own right has a glitchy swing. He has very good contact at 101 plus. With that 115 against lefties and 85 power, he can actually kind of be a power bat when it comes to facing lefties. Now against righties, is it great? 73 power, 101 contact, I'll take it for somebody that's supposed to be a defensive stud. As well as 102 vision. So he has good vision. He has very good contact. He's going to have a tremendous PCI on higher difficulties. I really like this Yadier Molina, and I think he could be a difference maker in anybody's lineup, no matter how good your team is. If you like Yadier Molina and you like a good defensive catcher, this card is for you. That's why he's locking down the number 1 spot on this list. Let me know if you guys agree with me about him being the number 1 spot. Maybe you guys don't think that he is as good of a catcher as he is. Like I said, when I posted his true review, some guys have piped up saying Matt Wieters. I'm in a couple Facebook groups. They had mentioned that Matt Wieters was the real deal and this Yadier Molina is not as good as I'm saying he is. I don't know. I think he's the best catcher that you can buy on the open market right now. I think if you pull him, keep him, unless you need the stubs. He's selling for about 100K right now. I think he'll settle down to about 65K when this Mike Trout collection's done. They stop having these stub sales every week. If he gets in that 65 to 70K mark, I think that's a great price for him. And I recommend you giving him a try if you have the stubs. He is probably the most expensive card on this list. Rightfully so, because I think he is the best card out of the 5 when it comes to a guy that will be in your lineup every day. Well, guys, that wraps up the video of ranking the set 36 to set 40 headliners featured cards. As you guys have seen, the Yadier Molina came in at the number 1 spot. You let me know down in the comments below if you guys agree with my rankings. And if you don't, let me know how you would change them. Remember to like, comment, and share this video so we can keep growing the channel. You guys have a great day and be safe.